Hello guys, Dinosaur here with another quick video before I go to bed. Something that was brought to my attention. And before I say anything else, no, I was not broken up with or anything like that, in case you were wondering, because this video is going to be about relationships and why they are not a sin, and why God will not call you to singleness. It is a popular misconception among Christians that God will call some people to singleness. This couldn't be further from the truth, though. God will not force a relationship or marriage on you. Because if you want to be single, God will not force you to not be single. But God does not call people to singleness. People call themselves to singleness. In Genesis chapter 2, which is the first book, Genesis is the very first book of the Bible, by the way. Genesis 2 verse 8, no, not 8, 18. And the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone, and I will make him an helpmeet for him." And this is gender neutral, by the way. In 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 2, "Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband." Now, these verses aren't just limited to marriage. They can be applied to just romantic relationships, although sex should be reserved for marriage. In fact, it is a sin to have premarital sex, but relationships in and of themselves are not a sin, and marriage is not a sin. Some people believe that to seek out marriage is a sin, and while the Bible doesn't encourage the Bible encourages marriage more than it discourages it. What the Bible discourages is letting things become an idol. My bad. I almost said idolatry. But the act of having an idol is the act of committing adultery. But also in Corinthians chapter 7, if I can find it. Oh yeah. Chapter 7, verse 28. "But if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. But if a virgin marry, she hath not sinned." Okay, so, and I noticed some other Christians go as far as, there's this one Christian guy who posts videos on YouTube. I will not be mentioning a name because I'm not here to call anybody out, but he got broken up with several times and announced them all on his channel. And after one of his breakups, he actually started wearing a wedding ring to claim that he was already married to the one that God has prepared for him. Now, the thing is the problem with that is that's not going to help you find your soulmate. Nothing's impossible for God, but you are limiting yourself by wearing that thing when you're not married. Okay, that's not going to draw your soulmate to you. That's going to push your soulmate away, because they're going to think that you're already married. Okay, don't do that. But yeah, guys, and no, I was not broken up with or anything. This is just something that I've noticed in the Christian community, and I decided to give my take on it. And yeah, relationships, marriage, it's not a sin. And to desire it isn't a sin either, because God will not call anybody to singleness. People call themselves to singleness. Yeah. And if you're wondering, yes, I am in a relationship, and I am very happy in it. So yeah. So I hope this has helped clear things up a bit. And I know the comment section of this video is probably going to be a mess. I don't know. Sometimes I think it's going to be a mess. Sometimes I don't. Because when it comes to posting videos like this, you never know who's going to watch, who's going to see it in their recommendations. You never know and you never know what kind of other opinions they might have. Things like this, I mean, things like this are important, but arguing over when religious people argue over things that don't really make a difference as far as salvation. Relationships make a difference, but as far as salvation, they're nothing to argue about. Unless, of course, you're having premarital sex, but don't do that. So don't do that. But other than that, relationships, marriage, it's not a sin. Go ahead and do it. And as long as it's mutual and as long as you're keeping it holy. So yeah, that's my take on it. Anyways, guys, we'll talk again soon. God bless.